Unboxing NoCode WeWeb. Today we try WeWeb. You probably didn't heard about them, so you can think about it like Webflow with retool capabilities. So let's go, open editor and let's start. So first I have to add a workspace, so that's quite useful if you're an agency, for example, working for clients. Let's call it Unboxing WeWeb. So I created my space. So basically what you find more or less the same interface like in Webflow with hosting, billing, invitation, members, and inside each workspace I can have multiple projects, I think. So I will start with a blank one and I will call it Unboxing WeWeb. Now my project is created. Let's start the editor. The interface is really clean. I can't imagine how it works immediately. Let's start by adding some section. So now I've added the section. I want to show a list of products. So let's try to add some kind of iterator. I think this is the collection. So here I have a list of items, so pre-populated, so I know it's a collection of items. So now I need to connect that to an API. I already created an API in Xano, so to prepare that demo, I created a way to list the products. So I basically want to replicate a very, very, very simple e-commerce. So let's try to connect that collection to my API. So I selected here. So there is this connection button plug. I think that it's exactly what I want. Yes, so I can bind and unbind data, and I probably have some elements here I can use. I can connect data to variables. I have no variables now. Database, this is probably the collections or some formulas. I can basically write code. Very cool. I don't have any collection yet, so I probably need to create some collection. The collection must be here. Exactly. So I will add a new collection and I will give it a name, products, and I will not select a folder, and I need to provide a source. I don't have any data source yet. Let's create a new data source. We just have to add the plugin. Now I can go back and configure the collection. So I click again. My products are here. I can select now a source. So it will be a REST API. I copy the endpoint link and I go back to my endpoint configurations. So basically that's it. I don't know what that means, and I can make this request through the server. We don't need that now, so we keep it like that. And yeah, we got the results. So I like it because they immediately pulled some data. I got all my products here, and I can see and navigate all the fields from the JSON are here. Okay, so now I have my collection. So I go back to the formula. And now I have the collection here. So basically I can use the data because what I need is basically, well, this is my free products, I suppose. So I will need to iterate through the data. Something happened, I don't know what, but I see there is a current value with objects and I can see that there are data inside the objects. So now, for example, replace that text with the title of the product. Let's try. Connect, select the formula, and that's an amazing. Did you notice that I had var collection or formulas, but now I have item, and item comes from my iterator context. That's interesting. So now I can select the name, for example. Oh, that's immediately appeared here. So I see my products coming from my database from Xano through the REST API directly here. Let's try to make it more like e-commerce. I saw something that I wanted to show you. UI kit here. I see beautiful card with product. Let's put it inside the iterator. Somewhere here. Oh, didn't work as I expected. The drag and drop with all these interfaces is usually bad in all these website builders. So we go through the navigator. So I put my my card here, and I will remove that text. I don't need it anymore. So now my card is repeated 3 times. So I will change the name. So again, the name here of the product, I will use name. Work. The price, I have price in my database, so I will use price here. A dollar sign. Oh, okay. I think that because this formula is evaluating it, so it tries to execute it as it would be JavaScript. So I will probably have to do something like that. Yeah, exactly. And now I want to change the image again. Very simple. Probably I have the path, the name, and the URL, and I use the URL for the photo. And I got my URLs. That's cool. Here the sizing should be auto. Oh, cool. It works. And if I take that, I want this to be centered. Can I do that? Yeah. We'll try to add a button here. So add to cart button. Button, it's what I want, and I put it here. Well, probably better to put it somewhere here. Cool, I have my button. Let's change the text on the button. Add to cart. Now we need to create a representation of our cart. A new section, I think. So, okay, section added at the end, as usual, drag and drop problem. I will put it here. I will name it cart, and this will be catalog. It will be easier for me to understand where I am. And inside the card, I want to add columns here, but I need an iterator here again because I might have multiple products inside my cart. I will need to add a new collection somewhere here. I have to add that inside the collection item. I have my collection with columns inside. So first thing we need to do is to create dynamically my cart. I have another endpoint for creation of the cart. So now I want to create the cart on the page load. Pages here, collections. Oh, I have workflows. I think this is what I need. I need to create a new workflow, exactly, that starts on the execution of the page. So let's start with an action we call the REST API. How to do that? Okay, we have REST API call here, and it's a post method action, create new cart. That's it. Can I test it? Okay, so I got the result. The cart is created and it returns me the ID of the cart. So I probably need to store that value somewhere. Add an action, change variable value. Create a new variable. I will call it cart ID. Save. That's it. Oh, I return back to the editor. That's not nice. So now I have created my variable cart ID, and the value should be dynamic, I think. So how do I do that? Probably, oh, I have this workflow icon, and so I can take the data from create new cart, take the result. I should probably execute it first. If I execute, oh, now look, as I executed my previous step, now I can dig into details and take the ID. We should test the whole workflow. Test, change variable cart ID to value 33. And now I want to add elements to my cart. I have an API for that. It takes basically two parameters, the cart ID, which we just created, and the product ID. So when I click on the cart button, I want to add this current product to the cart. How do I do that? So I add a new workflow when I click on the button. So when I have this on-click event, what I want to do is to actually call a REST API. So I already did that. It shouldn't be too complicated. And I will need to add some query strings as requested here in cart ID, in product ID, in cart ID, in product ID. So the cart ID is easy, is the variable we just created, connected, variable cart ID, and I have this value, immediate value. This is really valuable. I know what I am manipulating now. And the next one is the product ID. My button is inside an iterator. I still have access to the whole item data. And what I need is the product ID here. How do we test it? Test workflow. So let's now show the content of the cart. Get cart by ID, it shows you what you have inside your cart, and I will add a new collection, and I will get a current cart. Here again, I need to provide a query string, which is cart ID, and I will give the value of my current variable cart ID. So that should be enough to show what we have inside. I can modify the collection here, edit the formula, and the value this time is current cart. I have my collection. I don't like this size. I want it to make it bigger. Unfortunately, I cannot resize it from here. Okay, I can change it to 700 pixels. These columns, and I want to place stuff inside. So first, the name of the product name. We want to show the quantity. Here, let's name up. Let's take the quantity. one, and let's show the price here. We have the quantity and we have the unit price of the product. So what I want is to multiply the quantity by the price. So let's try to do this. It's formula quantity multiplied by the price. Okay, it works. So let's try clicking on another product. Nothing happened. That's because I'm in editor mode, so I need to switch probably to some preview mode. There is it. Does it work? If I add another one here, nothing happens. I know what happens actually. I executed that collection once, but I didn't fetch it again every time I add to cart. I probably have to kind of refresh my collection here. Do I have this option here? Yes, fetch collection. So my collection to fetch is current cart. Preview mode again, and try to hit cart. Each time I click, I refresh. So now I wanted to go a little bit further, add the button to remove a line from cart. So that's easy. I just have to use that API. Button goes here, delete here. And now when I click on that button, add a workflow, on click, execute the REST API. Now I have to select the method of delete. As you see, I have to provide a parameter here. Cart line ID here have to be replaced with cart line ID. I have to add an action to refresh, fetch collection, and the collection to fetch is current cart. If I click here, wow, it works! I really like WeWeb. Plain core gradient. I want gradient button. That's cool. And oh, that's nice. So I can create whatever I want here. So conclusion, very good tool. I like it.
What people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Break the cycle, Morty. Rise above. Focus on science.
Very powerful in terms of customization. So you can create internal tools, website, dynamic website, e-commerce website if you want.